Happy New Year, Josiah, and
Yeah,
happy
I don't care about the new
halfway.
year.
No, what do you care about?
I view years in terms of, for my years that I live are just halves of 155.
That's the implication there is that you will die at the end of this podcast. I think, right?
Is it?
I don't
When
know
I'm
if
only
it's like
2 years old? I think I'll only be 2 years old when it's over, according to the years that I recognize as
right. I mean, maybe this is like some Black Mirror shit. I also just recently watched that movie Cam, which is an excellent.
I thought you were gonna say you just watched Balderdash or whatever the fuck it's called.
I haven't watched it yet because like I don't really want to work when I watch.
Yeah, that happened yesterday. We watched it yesterday, and it was fucking a wall. It was very tedious, and also
Right.
didn't make sense by the end. So that was fun.
Okay, so great recommendation. So anyway, but I like to imagine that we're in that sort of scenario where you actually didn't exist. Like you're like a podcast replicant, and so we've filled your mind with all these memories of Long Johns and playing in the hand and being married, and none of that's real because you are like a sort of podcast bot, and
that works with your ownership and CEO-ness of This Exists too, because you're able to speak things into existence.
That's true. Yeah, exactly. So
you know what? Somebody sent us a screenshot. I don't know if you saw, probably because there's been a lot of shit going on Twitter today, but somebody sent us a screenshot, and it's so cute when people send things and they're like, I'm so sorry if you've already seen this. Please forgive me. Like I feel like I've gone too far the other way, where it used to be like, oh, please stop sending me saying "Where are you?" in a meme, but now it's like, please, master, don't shame me. But anyways, they hadn't sent this yet. No one had sent this, but apparently This Exists has 155 videos.
Yeah, I knew that. I mean, I that was quite deliberate.
You didn't bring that up ever? You didn't think that it would be relevant to our
I was
conversation?
waiting for someone to discover it. I've left all kinds of Easter eggs. I'm very clever. So
you're the human Bandersnatch.
Yeah, exactly. So no, that is spooky though. 155, just like it appears, man. Like
so that you have to stop doing This Exists completely.
That's it. Yeah. I was waiting until this moment. Although I have sort of appreciated the sort of occasional suggestion that really this podcast is just me waiting to do an incredibly elaborate This Exists about it. Because you do imagine you could be like, and then there's a guy who bought Travis Barker's car, and there's like all of the things that we know and love. It'd be a decent episode.
First of all, that was a pretty entry level reference. I'm starting to think that you don't even know anything about it.
I couldn't think of anything else that's happened.
Of all, I love the idea of you having to produce that episode, because to me it's very overwhelming to try to do it. But if it's for This Exists and you have to do it, I'm all aboard.
Right, totally. We'll do it like classic, Josie and Sam origin style. Like I'll Skype you in. It'll be like the Black Metal Troy episode.
Yeah. Which, by the way, my brother, Primetime Cruisin' 69, I don't remember what his username was that we referenced, or his real name either. But he found on Instagram somewhere someone was making Black Metal Troy merch.
Yeah, he's got like a Teespring or something.
That's
also,
so sick.
Black Metal Troy, he hasn't streamed for a couple of days because in his last stream he was threatening to kill a bunch of people with a knife that he had that was like on stream. Like he was like, I'm gonna fucking come for you. And then the cops got called, and literally the stream ends.
Someone snitched on Black Metal Troy? What the fuck?
Yeah, so like literally like the stream, and like he's like passing out on his bed as like most of his streams end now. And there's this knock on the door, and his brother's like, Troy, the cops are here to talk to you. And he's like, what? Oh, shit. And then he goes outside, and then there's like nothing for a while. And then his mom picks up his phone that he's been streaming with, and they give it to the cops. And so literally the end of the last Black Metal Troy stream.
Happen?
The end of the last Black Metal Troy stream is literally a cop looking at the stream and then turning it off. It's fucked up.
Oh my god. Is this archived somewhere?
Yeah, because like Troy hasn't been able to log on and delete it, because it's also like it made me think of the RuneScape felon. Should we contextualize Black Metal Troy?
No, we don't need to. This
Okay.
is for true heads. But I wish I had known about that earlier, because on Christmas Eve of all times, we went to our friend Carl's house and watched YouTube for like 2 hours. I would have
Sounds
loved
sick,
to
man.
watch Black Metal Troy get arrested on Christmas Eve.
It's a real Christmas treat for all except for Troy. So
Another thing. I still haven't really. I think the segues are getting worse as we go on.
yeah, truly.
Also,
So-
here's a thing to say.
Yes.
I don't know if you saw this either, but I've been meaning to talk to you about this, and I may as well do it on mic because it's very funny.
Yeah.
What is your friends' names who have like a wrestling podcast or something?
Oh, John Pollock and Wei Ting. They're like famous wrestling commentators.
Dude, they are. They seem huge, and they
Yeah.
did like a Christmas episode that was like 4 hours long or something.
God, how indulgent.
I know. But anyways, Damien guested on it.
Yeah.
And one of your friends said to him, Damien, have you heard Blink 155 before? From our mutual friend Sam. And Damien said, have I heard Blink 155? More like, have I been on Blink 155? And I'm listening, like, I'm like, okay, this tracks. And then he said, or how about, did I introduce the hosts of Blink 155 to one another? And I was thinking, like, I mean, I'll take it as our origin story that Damien introduced us, but did he? I don't think so.
No, it's in terms of origin stories, I would say 1, you're an invention of my mind. That's pretty good. 2, Damian Abraham of Fucked Up introduced us. That's cool. That's like punk.
But we could just go with that one, even though I don't think the three of us have ever been in the same room, have we?
I cannot conjure a memory like that. And the boring reality is, I think we just like met on the internet because you started writing for Exclaim at the time that I was the editor of the punk section, No Future.
No future.
I still think it's a good name for a punk review section in a magazine, but that's it, right? That's how we know each other.
Yeah, I think so. It's just through like work.
Yeah, we're work friends. We're not real friends.
No, Damien introduced us at a house show put on by Parts Unknown Records, the label responsible for Piss Jeans and Dry Rot.
Yeah,
it was
that's
their
it.
house, and it was like one of those shows where people are throwing fireworks into the pit, and it goes viral because it's so punk. And we were both there, like, this isn't even the punkest thing I've ever seen. And Damien was like, damn, as the two punkest guys I know, you need to meet each other.
Yeah.
Methinks this is the start of a friendship.
Yeah, and we started bantering, and he was like, what if you guys did this into microphones?
He's like, look, there's this thing called vamping, and I think
Yeah, Damien's definitely big on vamping.
Damien introduced us, so that's why.
Yeah, and introduced us to vamping.
But I do love that, like, the pod has gotten to the point where bragging about introducing us is actually like a thing that someone would want to do, especially
Yeah.
someone who's like actually cool.
Yeah, someone who's like incredibly accomplished and respected would be like, I have something to do with this thing, as opposed to like, yes, I've heard of Blink 155, and sort of leave it at that.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I don't know
cool.
that I want to drag my name into the pop punk mud with these two. but-
Damien was like, two titans of Canadian punk history together at last, thanks to moi.
Exactly. So thank you, Damien, and thank you. You know, maybe we have some new wrestling fans thanks to John and Wei talking about us. But so
Yeah, so it's halfway through.
yeah,
Let's start this fucking thing.
let's okay. So I'm recording now.
Right. That
To
is
be honest,
basically how our conversations go.
9 minutes of Black Metal Troy conversation with no context.
And boasting, and just extreme boasting.
Well, I think we should boast. So, I mean, how do you recognize halfway? What's the halfway anniversary? Like,
Well,
what are we
I've been
supposed to give
actually
each other?
afraid that I was doing the math wrong this whole time. But
Oh,
I think
no.
I'm right. I haven't checked it yet, but 77 times
And a half.
2
Yeah.
is 154. Is that right? Am I
No, it's-
right?
No. Yeah. So it's that's
So this
that's
is
it.
This episode is 77.5.
0.5. Yeah. So
And
that's
people are going to be like, "Oh, well, what if they release more songs before then?" Look, shut up.
just stop it. Just stop it.
Don't talk to us.
What does scare me about the new songs though is it's not going to be like 10 songs. It's going to be 20 songs, you know, because there's going to be bonus tracks.
And what if they come out after we've done Damn It, and then that just means 5 months of just whatever the new material
just
is.
new songs. Imagine, because I think the Damn It episode is going to be a really special time, and it's going to last, 72 hours, and it's all going to happen in Bill Billingsley's backyard. But like the idea of coming back, the way Internet Explorer kind of like comes back once a year to like talk about, sounding or whatever thing that,
you talking about the web browser?
Yeah, exactly. When Microsoft's Internet Explorer makes its triumphant return, it's sort of fun to get that, like, oh, this is a podcast that I like, and here they are kind of talking about the thing. But the idea that we are going to have this, like, very clear celebratory punctuation mark at the end of this project, and that a year after that, potentially, we're just going to have to be, like, talking about California bonus tracks, like just 100 Bottom of the Oceans being released a year after we're fucking done.
That sounds like the life I deserve.
100%. But I do think this is important, is that we are acknowledging here that we are duty bound to...
Duty.
We are bound by your flowing duty, 7-Eleven duty, to continue this podcast as long as there are Blink songs. So if Blink releases a new album in 30 years.
You're right, but don't say that, because then you're getting rid of the joyous wonderment of it being the halfway point.
That's true. I mean,
we're not so for the purposes of this episode, we're not going to talk about any new Blink songs. We're ending at 155.
Cool. Yes.
Just so that this episode is so special. Right. For that one reason.
Okay, cool. No, I get it. Blink-182 don't release any more music. Mark, if you're listening, just stop it. Just fucking stop.
I actually don't remember most of what happened in the last year and a half.
Yeah.
It's kind of been really weird and a blur. And we've already kind of been self-aggrandizing ourselves this entire time. I feel like even in like the first 3 episodes, we were probably like, ooh, we got 20 downloads. This is crazy. Hey, remember me when you're famous? That kind of thing.
Yeah, totally.
So rather than us do it even more, I reached out to the Dear Naish to allow them to send in. So we're going to do like a mailbag / audio file bag episode.
Wait, hold on. Josiah, you know that audiophiles have a problem with this podcast, so...
Yeah.
I don't know that you want to reach into that bag.
Well, there is a message from that person in here I'm now seeing, so I guess we're gonna read that one as well.
Okay, sick.
So should we just dig in, or what else do we need to say about the pod before we get started? I mean, the pod is really fun.
Yeah, the pod's fine. I like it.
I feel like I like the pod too much. I feel like it's just constantly simmering under the surface of every conversation I have with anyone.
It's just like any opportunity you're going to kind of jump in and be like, so the pod.
Yeah, and like I know that I'm going to do that, and I know that I don't want to do that, but it just happens no matter. Like it can't be stopped. The pod finds a way.
Yeah, like from time to time, like Ashley and I will be chatting about stuff, and then like, they'll be like, we'll be done talking about one thing, and she'll be like, so what's up with the pod? Like she knows that I want to talk about it, but that I try to sort of minimize how much I punish her with it. But she thankfully gives me that out, which I appreciate. Yeah, look, the pod's good, man. I've been living in earnest season for basically the entire duration of the podcast.
We're going to talk about that also this episode, but that's the finale. I'm going to talk about that at the end. I have something to share with you.
Yeah, so I don't want to start by being like I really fucking cherish this,
and
because then I have nowhere to go.
I haven't fielded any of these emails. So I don't know what we're about to.
So you're going in blind. You haven't screened.
And I did say to you this morning, it is bad vibes season. So I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's true. All right. Well,
of course it would be the halfway mark that it would be bad vibe season, but it is what it is.
Yeah, exactly. All relationships kind of go through. Like I've listened to most of your Classroom Crush, and you even mentioned you're like you and your wife have been together for a long time. You're like ups and downs, man. So maybe we're just in a down right now. I don't know.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, it's because there's too much pressure on the anniversary. I had to I'm not going to say any details, but I had to fucking delete a comment off of our Instagram last night because it was so mean towards someone else, not towards us, because no one would dare. But,
no, I can't imagine a world in which anyone had anything rude to say about either of us.
All right, let's start with this Should I go? Should I go from most recent submission or earliest submission? Let's go. Let's let the early ones in first. Okay.
Yeah, because we still have energy.
Eric Smeal has just.
Hey, Eric.
Thank you, and he shared this this audio clip.
My favorite memory of the pod is I was listening to the Mutt episode on the way to Atlanta, and I stopped in some weird town in North Carolina to get food, and I got lost, but I was just listening to the pod, and it was sick.
Sick. Eric, that's a great story. I hope do we have confirmation that Eric made it out of North Carolina?
I don't know, he sounds a little bit lost.
Yeah. Like it's just like I was listening to the pod anyway. I live here now. So Eric from North Carolina, thank you for enjoying the pod enough to just move and change your whole life.
I wonder, do you say he was getting some weird food?
Yeah.
I wonder what, like, come on, Eric, you gotta drop some deets on us, bro.
Were you getting some like North Carolina barbecue? Was that? But I don't know what's weird in North Carolina.
Maybe not having barbecue is weird.
That's the weirdest thing of all. He went to Subway and had a veggie sub.
I don't know. I like that there's like people who listen to us talk who just have like a chill American accent.
Yeah, I could definitely listen to a podcast hosted by Eric. That was like...
Yeah, he just was like so chill. It made me think that maybe I should become a stoner.
that should definitely be like your next evolution.
You're not you talk faster, I feel like, ever since you become a stoner. You don't have the American chill.
Because my 420 preferences for the high energy shit.
Oh, the Salvia.
Yeah. What's that band? Is that
Saliva?
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, that's what I smoke is pure saliva jams.
Not to borrow, I think I heard this on your Kickstarter Sex, but you don't like the into couch strain where you're right. Just into couch after?
Yeah. No, that's not for me.
Wow. We're learning so much here. Let's move along to Chris McGuffin with his email. Thank you for writing in, Chris. This is what Chris says. I discovered Blink-155 last winter at a very turbulent part of my life. A few months prior, I had just finished college for the second time and was job hunting when I had a falling out with my step-parents, which forced me to have to move in with my cousin who had one TV, no internet, and a really tiny room for me to live out of. I was working 4 jobs and was desperately trying to save enough money to move away. Blink-182 was my most listened to band at this point, so when I found the pod, I knew that it would become important to me. It helped me fight off my depression and anxiety and got me through the rest of the winter and spring. In the summer, I was finally able to move away, find a really good job, and the best part is that I still have a lot of Blink-155 to look forward to. I appreciate everything that you guys do for the nation, and I'm excited to see what the future holds for the pod.
Aw, Chris, that's great. I'm glad you got a job that you love and that life is, turning around.
That is so nice, Chris.
It's so nice.
I used to, whenever I'd watch, music documentaries or whatever, and people would be like, oh, this band really got me through a rough time. I'd always be like, what? No, it didn't. Fucking Metallica. No, they didn't. But, now I hear these nice, heartwarming stories, and I'm like, damn, that's crazy that us alienating our wives and wasting all of our time is helping someone somehow. That's so cool.
That's good. So to the detriment of our own, familial relationships, I'm glad, someone else's have maybe improved.
Yeah, I mean, now you are all my wives.
Yeah, the nation of wives. Did you never have what?
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
But just we've joked about this before. Yeah, the idea of this really helped me through a thing. Have you never had that thing? Have you never been like, oh, I was bummed. It was I watched a lot of this TV show and I'm like, I love Scrubs now because it helped me not be sad for a little while. Have you never had that thing?
I don't know. I think I've had coping mechanisms for when I've been depressed and stuff, but usually, maybe just in general, that's why I like comedy. I don't know. Right. There's not one specific thing because I also have consumed so much media at this point that I just hate everything and think it could all be better. Right. So if anything, it's making my life worse to consume things.
Right. That's an interesting juxtaposition with Chris's experience. So, but that's awesome. I'm stoked for Chris.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Shout out to Chris. Thank you, Chris. An earnest entry so early on. I love it. The next email, why I said holy shit, is from David Park. But he's attached 9 MP3s.
9 MP3s. Okay, so I don't know if we can listen to all of David's MP3s on this episode.
They're not from him. They're from him and his friends, quote unquote. I think you'll get the idea in a second. So let's start with David's message.
Okay.
Hey Josiah, Sam, and the nation at large. This is David Park, and I just wanted to be the first to wish you the best on the second half of the pod, and also hope you had the happiest of holiday seasons. Nation, you are my life and my love.
Thank you, David.
Oh, thank you, David.
So David's friends here don't really have names so much as they have Twitter handles. So I'm wondering,
okay.
He knows all these people.
Yeah.
So the second message is from Context Clues 155.
Okay.
Hey Josie, Sam, and the nation at large. This is Context Clues 155, and I just wanted to be the first to wish you the best on the second half of the pod, and also hope you had the happiest of holiday seasons. Nation, you are my life, my love.
I have a feeling I know where this is going. Number 3 is from the username FactCheck155.
Hey Josiah, Sam, and the nation at large. This is Fact Check 155. I just wanted to be the first to wish you the best on the second half of the pod, and also hope you had the happiest of holiday seasons. Nation, you are my life and my love.
I can't believe we're the life and the love of so many unique individuals.
Feels so good. You know, there is a little bit of a type that engages with the Blink 155 podcast on Twitter, and I feel
Absolutely.
like all of these guys kind of fit the type. But I love that they're all still kind of, they're like snowflakes.
It's a unique approach. Yeah, yeah.
They're still different people, even though they've sort of fit the mold of being
Yes,
type.
absolutely.
Let's hear what 155A has to say, eh?
Hey Josiah, Sam, and the nation at large. This is 155, eh? And I just wanted to be the first to wish you the best on the second half of the pod, and also hope you had the happiest of holiday seasons. Nation, you are my life and my love.
I gotta say that 155A sounds a little more tired than the other ones. You know.
Does, yeah. Let's hear how guest 155 sounds.
Okay.
Hey Josiah, Sam, and
so
the nation
funny.
at large. This is guest 155, and I just wanted to be the first to wish you the best on the second half of the pod, and also hope you had the happiest of holiday seasons. Nation, you are my life and my love.
It's remarkable, yeah, how similar and yet, yeah, utterly unique each of these users are.
We're all the same, and yet we're all different. In so many words. But that was only the halfway point of these, and Lord knows I'm stubborn enough to play them all. So
okay, let's
keep
do it.
going.
Yep.
Asking Mark 182 is this handle. I believe this is an account that constantly asks Mark Hoppus what's his favorite Back to the Future movie or something.
Right. Yes. Yeah. I think so.
Hey Josiah, Sam, and the nation at large. This is Asking Mark 182, and I just wanted to be the first to wish you the best on the second half of the pod, and also hope you had the happiest of holiday seasons. Nation, you are my life and my love. Let's find out together which is Mark Hoppus's favorite Back to the Future film.
See, that guy. Now, Asking Mark 182 is a little bit. He sort of used it as a chance to be self-promotional.
A little promotional, which is fine.
But I respect it. I mean, you may as well. You're going to have an audience.
You know what? Come on our pod just to promote your own thing under the guises of wishing us well. I think it's fuck that guy.
Okay, well.
Yeah, that's
everyone has
my
that
enemy
one-
now.
Everyone, everyone has that one guy in their friend group, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Just didn't get it. Just doesn't get the tone of what's happening, which is that it's all about me. And
Okay,
that's
this one is called Justice for Reese's, which I have no fucking clue.
I don't remember that one.
Hey Josie, Sam, and the nation at large. This is Justice for Reese's, and I just wanted to be the first to wish you the best on the second half of the pod, and also hope you had the happiest of holiday seasons. Nation, you are my life and my love, second only to the Reese's McFlurry.
What?
Okay. I guess that must be so his friends are not just pod accounts, but just kind of in general.
Right. So he has a whole circle of friends that are just like one-off novelty or operate novelty accounts. That's so interesting.
Yeah, it's cool that they don't necessarily have tons in common, but they're still.
Yeah. Sometimes you just
next one
find people have a similar outlook on life to you. It doesn't matter if your interests are the Reese's McFlurry or
Hoppus
finding out
is
what
his
Mark
favorite.
Hoppus's favorite Back to the Future movie is. Like, sometimes you just have a similar outlook on life.
Okay, this next one is entitled RSP.
Hey, Josiah, Sam, and the nation at large. This is David from the Disneyland podcast Remain Seated, Please. And I just wanted to be the first to wish you the best on the second half of the pod, and also hope you had the happiest of holiday seasons. Nation, you are my life and my love.
Now that's interesting because David Park's friend
Yeah.
has a friend also named David who has a pod about a park, but it's not the same guy, even though they have similar voices.
Yeah, but I mean, it's sort of that, like, I think, like, a lot, like, some people have trouble telling you and I apart. So I can see how, again, the voices are similar, but clearly, again, someone whose passion is totally separate from David's passion for Blink-182 or the other person's passion for Back to the Future.
I never thought I'd say this, but I actually wish David Park had even more friends because there's only one left. So
okay,
this
yeah.
one is entitled Other.
Hey, Josiah, Sam, and the nation at large. What are my other Twitter accounts?
David, amazing.
Yes.
Amazing bit. I like it so much, I'm going to click the Gmail auto reply that says thank you. That means a lot. So there you go.
That's great.
You
Yes,
got your reply.
David, to you and yours, a happy new year and a happy halfway. Okay, so we have a message from Greg. It says, "Sup, Josiah." I'm assuming, correctly assuming that I don't do anything. Greg here, a.k.a. Outdoor Velour, a.k.a. This Might Be a Pod, a.k.a. Blink-155 Audio Critiques. You know that I'm mostly trolling you at this point, I'm sure, because that's your brand of humor. I do want to help the pod and any amateur pod sound better, but it's also fun to dick around with other members of the nation who have nothing better to do, so no, I'm just fucking around. Mostly. Ha. That's a real, like, I'm not mad. I actually think it's funny.
Yeah.
I would love to be on the halfway mark pod. You did it. That's me. Or any of the regular week pods, and even do a bit if you want. Like, we could pretend to legit argue about the importance of fidelity on a podcast, or I could put on my Conan Battlestar Galactica nerd voice and talk in terms no one but an audio engineer would understand, or I could just be me. Whichever. I look forward to the pod every week for reals with a Z. Keep doing the Lord's work. So you made it.
This email was sent before the infamous Twitter blow up that happened this morning when I first woke up. Part of Bad Vibes season. We're not going to get into the nitty gritty of that, but yeah, please. What do you have to say about this email?
So, well, first of all, you made it on the halfway mark pod, so that's, that achievement is unlocked. And I think this sort of argument about the fidelity of the pod, it sort of feels a little bit like when you argue with, like, a parent or something about, like, not wearing your winter coat or something when you're a kid. You're like, I'm going to be fine. And then you go out and you're really cold, but you can't admit it. Like, for sure, there are parts of this pod that we could probably improve, but the sort of insistence that, like, you get a pop filter or whatever has led to us just, like, really entrenching ourselves as, like, no, this is how the pod sounds.
Yeah, there's absolutely no fucking way I'm ever doing anything to improve the audio.
No, if anything, we're going to make the pod sound worse now.
I love the whole, like, I'm joking, but also please take my unscripted advice is really good.
Yeah, so I love that approach to online discourse. It is truly my favorite rhetorical device of online. But know that this podcast will never sound any better than it does right now.
Hopefully it will sound worse. I think we should start recording to tape.
Yeah, oh yeah, get really those authentic sort of hisses and pops.
When will pods enter, like, the lo-fi, like, Silt Breeze Records 2008 phase?
That's it. We're certainly on the postguard of doing, like, sort of single purpose pods, but maybe we can be on the vanguard of bringing super lo-fi DIY punk vibes to podcasting.
Is postguard actually a word?
No, I just did it.
That's good.
Was it good?
I mean, kind of. Although I'm trying to think of what's the opposite of a van. Maybe like the car
guard. Yeah, bike guard. I don't know. What's the
smallest
car?
That's the caliber of humor that you want to sound better.
You want that to be better. You want the car guard joke to sound better, and that's just, it's not right.
I respect it.
I do say, we've joked with this every time we do, like, a music bed joke and talk over it. I'm always like, yo, this sounds good.
Yeah, it's true. But that's not what he wants. He just wants me to get a pop screen, and he wants us to. And the thing is, we did used to download. And when I say we, I mean me, obviously, because I do all the work. But
yes,
I used to download all 30 covers
and put them all in.
It would like crash my computer, and it would download sketchy DMG files to my downloads folder to use these websites, and then I would replace all of the audio plugs with the actual MP3, and it would take like an extra probably 2 or 3 hours every week.
Yeah.
And then I realized, who gives a fuck? We're listening to a teen in their bedroom that's funny because it's out of tune. Like, who cares?
Well, I can tell you at least one person cares. In answer to your, I understand, rhetorical question of who cares, the answer is Greg.
Greg cares.
Yeah.
Well,
so thank you for caring, Greg. Thank you for caring.
Thank you for the email, Greg. I'm going to stop DMing you for a little while because it's not going well. But, thank you. And let's move along to Tobias Olsen, who writes, "To be grotesquely sincere,
Yes.
the show has really taught me that it's insanely cool to be really passionate about really uncool things. To a certain extent,
What?
of course." Yeah, what the fuck? What's uncool
I don't fucking get it. I don't get that at all.
Also, if you want to play and maybe discuss my SoundCloud ass All the Small Things Breakcore remix thing on air, that'll be cool as well. Well, since I haven't pre-screened these, I'm not able to edit out the self-promo parts of the messages. So I guess we'll just do it, but I'm down with that. I'm into SoundCloud. So the username is Rin, and this is called Break 182. And it sounds like this.
It's actually really good.
I loved it.
That was amazing. Great self-promo. Thank you for promoting that.
That was really good.
It was fucking sick.
It was really funny, and we really do. That'll be one of the millions of things left on our to-do list, as we will revisit All the Small Things with Exclusive, because I didn't even scratch the surface of like the actual funny things that people have done with it.
Yeah, and I haven't had an
amazing.
opportunity to opine yet.
Yeah, we all know what. I don't know. I don't want to know right now, but I'm
No, we're not
curious
doing that
what you'll
episode.
say about it. Maybe
Ooh.
maybe you like it.
Maybe.
Tobias continues, "All right, I'm going to try to sleep now since I've basically been awake for over a day now since I couldn't sleep on the night train, and this email is a fucking mess. Oh well. Fucking love the pod. Lynn, a.k.a. Watho, and Iambic 69 Poetry in the Naish."
Sick.
Right.
Oh, okay. I know I am
Yeah,
at 69.
I know. Yeah, I think maybe Tobias Olsen might not be might be a dead name. I can't remember.
Okay, cool. So that was...
Sorry. That's just I don't know if I'm reading your wrong names or whatever, but I'm just reading the email here. But yeah, I know Iambic 69 Poetry. Shout out to that person, and love the Breakcore remix. It rules.
That thing was so good. I hope you finally got some sleep.
This next email just says pins with a question mark, so I'm gonna deal with that later.
I hope you've been mailing people out their pins.
Wouldn't that be funny if I just grifted everyone and then disappeared?
That would be a
With,
much
like,
more reasonable complaint.
Made like a couple $100 and just pieced.
That was all you. That was all you needed. Was
That's all I needed.
a couple
to
$100.
disappear. Just to build a raft made of pop screens and float away. The next one is from Gabriel Everington, who writes, "If I'm not too late, my highlight of the pod so far is meeting Champagne Sammy in person in London and discovering he played a bright white Les Paul and drove a tinted windscreen Mercedes-Benz with pimped out rims, which he referred to as the Merc. You should, a quote from Champagne Sammy, 'You should see how she drives on the Autobahn, dude.'"
Yeah, to be honest, the Merc ripped it up on the Autobahn. It was like 0 to 100, and I'm talking miles here. Like,
Oh my God.
so quick. Okay, so just some context there. Yes, I was playing a white Les Paul, and yes, I was driving a tinted window Merc with sick rims. None of those things belonged to me.
Oh, so that's true. You were.
That's all true. That's all 100% true. So we were
when you
hanging.
went to rent stuff, you're like, show me what you got in the back room. That's for,
Yeah, exactly.
you slap down like a platinum credit card on the thing. You're like, none of this DIY shit.
No.
Show me where fucking Ronnie Radke shot.
That's always what I ask anywhere I go. Take me to Ronnie's section. So no, we ended up, because we had so many van problems on that tour because it was punk. We ended up in a rental van, and then also one of the guys in the run up, like that's his car, but we were driving it, and so we were hanging out in front of this like DIY venue in like the warehouse district of North London or whatever. And they were literally like, "So what is your car?" I was like, "That's the car we're driving." And it was like a truly like sick beast of a Merc, and with evidently cool rims. I don't know enough about cars.
Did it have like Wi-Fi in it or anything, or TV screens?
No, it just had like a normal like heads-up display or whatever. But it was.
Dude, I remember. This is aging me a little bit, but I remember this really funny and cheesy and awesome, amazing core band called Killing the Dream.
Yeah.
Who might be from SAC or something, maybe? Probably not. If I think they're from SAC, they never are. But I remember that they played like a DIY space in Vancouver once when I was like going to all the Vancouver hardcore shows, and they pulled up in like an SUV, and I was so judgy about it. But then every time we've gone on tour, we've like rented a car and made someone else. We've always toured with a band that's carrying all the gear. And and then we just have like a comfy.
That's
sedan.
the move, dude. So we were like, that guitar was the Run Up's guitar, and we were just in this like luscious Merc, just cranking it down the Autobahn. Like, it was sick. But I just want to make this clear.
Was doing like Sam fanfic. But
no, that was exactly what happened, and I was really like in real life living up to the Champagne Sammy persona. But I just want to say that in my humble home of Toronto, I play an SG and I don't own a car. So
yeah, but are we talking Epi or Gibson?
It's a Gibson.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not
exactly
poor. Like, come on. But that was a highlight.
Or?
I don't know. I don't really know. To Gabriel, that was.
What is it, like a 72 or something?
I don't know. I literally just buy the stuff that Aaron Zorgel tells me to buy. I have no idea what I.
That's
what
also
I play.
a rich guy move.
Oh yeah, is let your friend tell you like not do any of the work yourself.
Here's my plastic. Just get me what I need.
I sent him out. I know. I don't care. So, but to Gabriel, that was, I mean, we talked about it a little bit on the episode that we recorded, I think, after I got back. But, like, meeting the London Naish was, like, a highlight of that tour as well for me. So that was, it was sick. Plus, I got to, like, flex all my Champagne Sammy, extensions. So it's good.
Meeting a handful of people from the pod has been really fun in the last year and a half. And I don't know if anyone has written about it or not, but the live show was fucking insane.
Have we talked about the live show ever on the pod?
We might have a little bit, but
I don't know that we did. Yeah.
While we're being reflective, that was truly crazy.
I was joking. Don't people like hate that we talk so much about the live show?
Oh, maybe they did. I don't know. I can't remember anything.
No, it's fair. The live show was insane. It was insane. We can wrap it up. If no one else says it for us, we can kind of jump back into it.
Yeah, and also like, if anyone wants to book us, that's the thing you can do if you want.
Yeah,
we can figure some shit out.
We're very funny and very affordable, except for me.
Maybe we will use a pop screen at a live show.
Yeah, that's it. It's our pop screen promise.
The real problem is that I know that when someone's mad at me about something, I can't let it go, and I just love to jab at it all the time.
Yeah, I have no problem believing that you're like DMing through this entire recording.
All right, the next one is from K9 West, whom I've seen on Twitter a bunch. She's like a fake Kanye account that's dedicated to the pod.
Oh, right. I love that one. That one's really funny.
I mean, how do we have that? Who knows? K9 West has written, "Love the pod. Here's a very boring voice message about one of my favorite bits so far. I think flew over some heads. Thanks for the pod."
It's Sam and Josiah, this Kanyane. Love the pod. And my favorite memory of the pod so far has gotta be Liho Diho and Josiah's brilliant underhand comment when he say, "What about your haters who may be listening or talking to you right now?" Genius. Thanks a lot. I love you guys. Peace.
First of all, how does he pronounce Kanye?
Yeah, let's hear that again.
Yeah.
It's Sam and Josiah, this Kanyane.
Kanyane.
Kanyane is so good. Yeah, that was I do remember that moment, and I was like, that was a good, because I was very apprehensive about the Leo Diho thing, and we gut checked it with a few of our friends in real life, and a few people did say like, why would you do that?
Yeah, someone said, and it really stung deep. Someone said that it was like some Bill Maher shit, and I was like, God damn, I've become what I hate the most.
Yeah, but I think the consensus after it happened, and because I was not sure. I mean, I think that I think we teed it up well collectively, but then I think that like you handled it perfectly, and so it was interesting because this is a podcast about this band and about the world around this band, and he is such a substantial kind of figure digitally today in that world that it was worth talking to him, and I think you just so effectively kind of handled it that I think it would be hard to criticize us having him on the pod.
Thank you. I mean, yeah something I love about doing the pod is that it's not journalism, and that's really fun because like supposedly you're supposed to try to be as like neutral as possible when you interview people for like an article or something. But on here, I'm just being a guy, so I can tell the world is a beautiful place that I've never heard them, or I can tell Imagine Dragons that I don't really like their music, but then end up liking it, or I can dunk on people while I talk. Like it's an interesting new way to do something that I've been doing for so damn long.
Right? Yeah, you're on Cage now. This is
Exactly.
just Josiah on the loose, just letting everyone know what he thinks of them. He hasn't heard of them. He's not a huge fan. Oh, it must
I mean,
sting.
could you imagine saying that to someone, like doing an interview for a magazine? Because everyone assumes, and every writer like pretends that they spent a year preparing for everything.
Oh,
and,
yeah, totally.
Got intimately involved with the album before they talked or whatever. But to just be like, I haven't heard it. I've seen the cover, and I'm pretty sure I know what it sounds like based on the cover.
Yeah, which is how most music journalism happens.
But since Friday, I did actually listen to the World is a Beautiful Place. I'm No Longer Afraid to Die, the album that Chris recommended, and I like it a lot.
Yeah, you were messaging me about it. You were like, I really like this band now.
It was a lot different than I expected because it wasn't like super emo, and it wasn't like emo revival because I was expecting there to be like spoken word parts, which I'm gonna need to work up to quite a bit before I can handle that. But
Yeah.
instead, it was a lot of like stuff that I loved growing up. There's a lot of like Modest Mouse in there too, and then some cool heavy parts. It's good. I like it.
Sick. So there you go. So that's a recommendation from Josiah. The world is a beautiful place, and I'm no longer afraid to die. It's good.
Listen to the album from like 7 years ago or whatever.
Yeah.
I just forwarded you the next one.
Okay. Let me pop her open here. Okay, so this is a message from Ben Jones. Hey, Josiah and Sam. Blink 155 has been one of the highlights of my year. It's given me renewed appreciation for Blink and a better critical eye for pop punk and culture in general. I'm glad you two are the ones to discuss the band. My wife isn't a listener, but she still overhears it more than she'd probably like when I'm listening to it whilst cooking dinner. Despite this, when we're discussing our future, she's fully adopted Baller House to describe one of the choices. Looking forward to the next 1.5 years. Ben. Amazing. So
Wait,
glad.
What does that mean? What does Baller House mean? Is that something I'm forgetting?
I think we just like talk about like living in a baller house. I'm
Oh yeah. Okay, like because and the thing is, I have even more of a Champagne Sammy apartment than Champagne Sam.
Yeah, you've been to my apartment. It's like a normal downtown. Like it's but yours is like luxurious, right?
It is.
Yeah.
But I think it's pretty clear that I'm house poor, as they say.
Right. But you got new curtains. And didn't you get a couch or something?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we're moving up in the world.
I guess that's what makes you house poor is you put a couch in your house and
Yeah, exactly.
get it. So Ben, I hope you manage your finances, better than Josiah, and your baller house doesn't leave you house poor.
Yeah, we're gonna do the. I'm sorry, I'm spacing out as I talk here. Free punk lyrics.
Are you
comp.
fighting in the DMs? Is
No,
that the problem?
I'm not. We're gonna do the free punk lyrics comp next year, and that's exciting. But some friends of mine from the band Needs, they submitted a track, and in the email they're like, "Yeah, two of us recorded this, but we're not allowed to listen to the pod on tour." I was like, wait, what? Because someone I know in Needs, who was not mentioned in the email, told me that they love the pod and they love listening to it on tour. But then this other member was like, oh, they don't let us listen to it on tour. And I was like, really? Because it's this dude that I've known for a long time. He's also a journalist.
Yeah.
And he's come up to me before and said, like, the pod is so good. It's like my favorite thing. And it was like totally like another one of these things where knowing about the pod seems to be some sort of like calling card or something. Like it's starting to have this weird clout to it in a gross way.
Yeah.
But this guy apparently in the van, in the Needs van, he said that they don't want to listen to the pod on tour because it's just two guys talking about their wives.
I mean, that's totally reasonable. The van
totally
is a shared
reasonable.
space. It's
So there's two aspects of it, which is I'm realizing he's right. We do talk about our wives a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm also realizing that, like, knowing about the pod, like, people put it in press releases now, too. It's like a new way to schmooze with me. To be like, oh, I love the pod.
Really?
Yeah.
They're just trying to, woo you so that you, like, do a track premiere.
Yeah, and it works.
Great.
I'm easy.
That's good.
I'm easy.
So if anyone listening to this wants their music video or their album premiered on Exclaim, email Josiah with a compliment about this podcast.
Although I can always tell if you're faking it.
Right. Are you like a musician where you're like, okay, but like, what do you like about the new album? Like, are you getting... Yeah.
Like if you were cold calling me and you were like, yeah, I love the pod, that guy who bought Travis Barker's car, I'd be like, this guy's not ahead. He doesn't know what's up.
I don't know anything about this thing.
All right, the next is an audio message from Eric Longoria.
What up? This is Eric, second Delawarean of the pod.
Oh.
And my favorite story shared on Blink 155 is the one about the time Josiah got on stage during a gob show and screamed the lyrics and embarrassed himself. Because I did shit like that too when I was in high school. All right. Happy halfway, Mark.
Thank you, Eric.
Thanks, Eric.
Yeah, I guess pretty much this podcast is just me debasing myself.
Yeah. When he was like, my favorite story that is, and then I was like, it was going to be about Josiah. Yeah, like shitting himself. That's a big favorite. Or yeah, embarrassing himself at the gob show. There's, you're not like painting a real, heroic picture of yourself.
No, but I think that's why people like it, maybe.
That's why people relate, yeah.
I'm sacrificing myself.
It's oh, that's interesting. Interesting imagery. So that others might live, yeah, without
I'm a
sin.
martyr for content.
Content martyr is like both bad and very good as a term.
Like it's one of those things that's definitely on someone's business card.
Yes,
in
absolutely,
LA.
yeah. Or it's like somebody's Twitter handle, like @content martyr. And
What
they
are
just
some of those
aggregate.
like horrible job titles? Like, I feel like coders always have names like Code Cowboy or something.
Well, yeah, and that was like the early. I think it's gone away because it's been professionalized as a career. But when no one really knew what to do with social media for a long time on a corporate level, everyone's job title was like social media maven, social media ninja. Like no one had a normal like manager, director. Like everyone was just like a fucking social media cowboy. Like it was just like whatever the most outlandish sort of like job noun that could be sort of applied at the end of social media was just sort of what ended up there.
What's it called when you like live in Thailand and do social media for a yoga company again? Like digital nomad, is that right?
Right, yeah.
That's so horrible. I think I could become a digital nomad content martyr.
Well, you sort
honest.
of are a digital nomad. It's just instead of living in Thailand, you live in Calgary.
Yeah, but in a bougie apartment at least.
Right, yeah. No, that part's good.
All right, the next one's from Cody Scott. Cody from Sac, baby.
Oh.
This is Cody from Sacramento at Burger Chic 155. Wanted to congratulate you on being halfway done with the pod, even though that makes me really sad that it's halfway over. It's meant quite a bit to me this last year or so. It's given me and Danny at 155 Love Sac, which is real weird to say out loud. It's given us something to talk about and bond over, which is nice. It's made me change my wardrobe. I've gone back to wearing Dickies after hearing you guys talk about how cool Blink looks wearing Dickies all the time. And shout out to Marsden because I consulted with him and he made me feel like it was an okay decision to wear Dickies. And then finally, Josiah, please continue talking as much as possible about Christian punk. Because I don't have anyone to talk to about that. I was like the only person in my group of friends that like grew up going to church and listening to punk and then like listening to all these tooth and nail bands. So it's like cool to hear someone else's perspective about this like incredibly embarrassing thing that's also like feels kind of important to me, which is weird, but yeah, so keep it up, guys. Here's to Blink recording like 7 more albums so you guys can continue doing this for a long, long time.
Hell yeah, that was so nice.
Thanks, Cody. I think Cody's really cool. He's very yeah, he's like because he's the guy who sent me all those records that him and his friends had put out.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, this is crazy because he has like very similar taste to me. And all these records that him and his friends put out are like totally the shit I'm into. And so Cody's really cool because he's like, you're just like, damn, this another version of me lives somewhere.
Yeah, specifically in Sacramento.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think there's more SAC content coming up. But thank you, Cody. That's a very nice message.
Yeah, that's lovely.
And like, congrats on being able to pull off Dickies as an adult.
I know. And I'm so glad that he checked in with Marsden because you want to make sure the merch pundit approves.
The last time I tried on Dickies, they had not put any stretch in there. So to get it around my gut, I had to go like very, very large.
Right.
And they look like Jinkos. So
Oh, sick.
I think it's going to happen with me.
Yeah, I've really loved through Cody and Dan, who runs the Blink-155 Love Sac account, that I've basically learned like how much Sacramento content I consume because I can't watch a movie or listen to a band that and then not sort of think of them now. So, I mean, most recently I watched a documentary called Mermaids, all about people who think they are or dress up as mermaids, and it features a Sacramento bar called the Dive Bar very prominently, where there's like an aquarium above the bar that mermaids swim in. So we were tweeting about that, or like I finally watched Lady Bird earlier this year, and like that's set
Hey,
in
hang on. In that doc, did they talk about the Sip and Dip in Montana?
No, the Sip and Dip didn't come up.
Oh, damn.
What's that?
It's just another bar where there's like a pool. There's a window behind the bar. It's very kitschy, but it's in like Great Falls, Montana, and there's a pool where
Mermaids swim.
a minimum wage probably
Mermaids, yeah.
paid woman
Yeah.
has to swim around while people ogle her.
So Sacramento's the same, but I like literally, I think I tweet at them every time I see something now where I'm like, yo, thought of you guys watching Lady Bird. Sacramento's cool.
I looked up I feel like I've seen people hate on Sacramento before. I always just in my mind assumed that it was like Abbotsford to San Francisco or something, or just something like that, like a place where people they love to hate on, basically, which is the vibe I'm into completely. But I looked up, I think it was a bar, or maybe one of them had posted like show listings, and it seems like there's tons of shit happening every single night of the week there. And it's actually stressful.
Right. So you don't want to live in a place like that. Yeah, it's a pretty big city. Like it has Lady Bird.
Yeah, like it seems like you could go to like your dream punk lineup every single night of the week. Like there's just constant good shows going on, and I don't know how I would cope with that. Like I like being somewhere where there's something I need to see maybe once every 3 months, not every single night of the week. It's crazy.
And that's why you've settled your digital nomad life in Calgary.
Exactly. Yeah.
Perfect.
So, yeah, those guys should get like a medal from the tourism board or something.
Yeah, they're working for the city, and I appreciate that.
So the next one is from Nina, aka Twitter user Cryptid Mom.
Oh yeah,
she's been around from the very
Cryptid
beginning.
Mom's a day one, yeah.
And that's the other Delawarean, I believe.
So they
Nina
have their
Cryptid
own
Mom,
Twitter account, right?
Yeah.
I think the Delaware Nation has an account.
Oh, do they? There's one. There's one that's like some states that I don't really know.
I think there's a North Carolina, South Carolina, like a Carolinas
that's the
one,
one
and then I think there's a Delaware one.
There might be. There's a lot of fucking Twitter accounts.
It's as we saw from David Park's collection of friends.
So here's what Nina has to say. As an OG FOTP, which means fan of the pod, or no, friend of the pod. I can't remember. Friend of the pod, probably. She's a friend. Not
She's a friend
fan.
of the pod, yeah.
As an OG FOTP, I think Twitter user Cryptid Mom deserves to be in the halfway app because I discovered Blink-182 solely through you two, and now I'm a true head. And if that isn't the real purpose of the pod, I don't know what is.
Definitely the real purpose of this pod is to proselytize. Is that how you say that?
Maybe.
You should. It's like it's not a Christian word, but it's a religious
Yeah.
term. Yeah. So anyway, that's why we started this. Is we were like, not enough people are talking about Blink-182 in 2000 and
I mean, actually,
16. Did we start this in 17? 17.
Yeah.
Jesus
the true actual purpose of the pod is for people to pay attention to us. we just want attention and likes and faves.
Yeah. That's really it. But if a side effect of that is, Nina, that you have discovered Blink-182, I'm fine with that.
All right, up next is Danny from SAC.
Oh, okay.
The SAC boys are back. He's done a video, so I don't really know what to do with that other than play it. And then,
just do what you always do, man. Since when are you concerned about this?
But I can't. It's not uploaded, so I can't show you. So now you're gonna know what it's like to listen to the pod.
God,
because I'm gonna have to explain it to you as well. Ooh, there's lots of records in the background. The Bananas.
Oh, sick.
Dookie.
Sick.
The Croissants and Charles Albright split. I think they sent me that one. Okay, here we go.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Sam. Hello, Josiah. Hello, Blink-155 Nation. This is Danny from Sacramento saying hello. Don't really have much else to say. Favorite moments or whatever from the last year and a half on the pod have been, of course, when Sacramento gets mentioned, obviously. The Bananas.
Gonna love this episode.
That was a surprise. Because they're not as well known. And of course, when my account gets mentioned is super rad. And the favorite episode is the one where Sam and Josiah are talking about the Airbnb that Josiah stayed in.
That's a good episode.
Fucking ridiculous and hilarious. I think I was walking down the hall at work, listening to that and trying to hold in my laughter and tears giving in my eyes because of how fucking hilarious that was. And favorite exclusive is the RuneScape villain.
Yeah.
Because it was fucking mind-blowing. A lot better than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be pretty silly, but it was great. Anyway, this is pointless, and congratulations on a year and a half, guys. Can't wait for more. And goodbye from Sacramento. Cody will probably do a video too or something. I don't know. We were talking about it earlier. We'll see. God.
Wow.
So I just
if only I could explain to you how intimate that video was. 'Cause
Really?
It was he has a nice. He must have a nice iPhone or a nice camera.
Oh, really? So
It's very clear.
Nice.
A lot of eye contact, but then his voice was so gentle and soothing.
I know. I would like to hear a podcast about just Sacramento now from him.
Yeah.
I also just love that he's like, what I love is hearing myself mentioned, and I was like, man, we like the podcast for the same reasons. It's perfect.
Up next, we've got a little. It looks like there are 4 attachments. 2 of them look like they could be viruses, and I would expect nothing less from Down Under.
Oh yeah.
It's Matty Rindle.
Oh, Matty.
that was British.
Nah, it's the same.
He DM'd and said that he had guests over, but he was going to try to record something while there was company at his house because we had a strict deadline that we have since gotten rid of.
Blown through. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's 2. There's attachment 1, attachment 2. I have no clue. There's attachment 1, attachment 2 audio files, but then there's these weird like HTML files too that I'm not opening, Maddie. I'm not gonna fall for this.
No.
Hello, Bill, Sam, Josiah, and the Blink 155 Nation, or Blink 155, whichever way you go. Matty Randell here, coming in from Wodonga. Just thinking about the halfway point of the pod. It's a great occasion. It's bittersweet, I guess. It means, we've had half of this experience together, but we've only got half of it left. But the nation will always be there. Don't forget. Highlights in terms of the pod. I mean, there's so many great moments, I guess, if that's what you want to say. Yeah. First of all, the main highlight for me
Was that
that
an
I can
edit?
think of would be
Maybe.
discovering, the possibility that Dude Ranch could probably become,
It
which
is.
I'd never thought of before, and just those mind-blowing stuff from Hot Leather that dropped that on us. Other highlights, discovering the Strooms, which was like they rule.
True.
That led me down the road of going. Well, I was going to Bali anyway, but doing the Bali Exclusi,
Which is
that
great.
Indonesian pop punk. It opened my eyes to all that, which was really awesome. Which also, being on the pod led to like a heap of Wodonga references just being dropped. Like around, I think it was like the June, July period. It was like every episode, like Wodonga. Like Damien from Fucked Up was talking about, was asked by Sam if he went to Wodonga. To me, that was fucking mind-blowing. But anyway, yeah, so that was awesome. Just Wodonga getting its dues because it deserves it.
Everyone just wants their
nation.
city getting shouted out.
I know.
That's
I was
it.
gonna say. I just paused. Wodonga is the Sacramento of Australia, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
General, fucking rules. I love you all. This has already gone on for too long, but I look forward to, continuing the banter and everything with you all. It's fucking great. Bill, you're still the coolest cunt in the world. Love you.
That's great. Love Maddie. Love Wodonga.
I wonder if this was an accident. Let's hear what this other one is.
Hello, my name is Brandon. You guys might not know me, but I run the Watch RIP Sally Twitter account on Twitter. Yeah, so
Is this Matt?
you guys might know that.
So Maddie sent this, but this is clearly
Obviously from an
accent.
American. Yeah, very clearly an American accent.
Lest you think it's the same person. 'cause
It's certainly
the same
not.
Email.
Certainly
it's
not.
Clearly an American.
It's obvious that he's the go-between.
Yeah.
Sally the Snake, that is in the Jake the Snakester's RIP Sally video. She visits me, her spirit visits me in my dreams, which I am working through with my counselor at school. I don't really go to school, I just go there to see the counselor. But, yeah. Anyway, she visits me. And I love Sally. It is stressful when you have a dead snake sometimes coming to you in your dreams, but, we've developed a nice relationship. But anyway, I discovered the podcast just because Jake the Snakester said that he was in some Blink podcast, so I looked at it, and I was like, oh my god. I love Sally, and I love that you guys are, getting around it and sharing the plight of Sally. So, I really love what you guys have done to help Sally get out of snake purgatory, maybe. She's not there yet. She's not in snake heaven yet, but we'll get her there, hopefully, if we can get 5,000 views. So don't forget to watch R.I.P. Sally on YouTube. And get Sally 5,000 views so she can finally get out of Australia and go to Snake Heaven. So, yeah, thank you all for doing your bit to help Sally.
I think the Rest in Peace Sally Twitter account is perhaps the most deranged.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Dude Ranch is female, or Neighborhoods is female ejaculate is hands down like the most unhinged. Like,
it's true, but like the sort of the creation of this snake purgatory narrative, where like also people will get involved with the podcast who don't know the full history and don't know about Sally, this pet snake, and then all of a sudden are inundated with these
accounts
tweets begging them to watch the video.
But that is like the My Pet Sally episode is, I mean, I think probably the best episode. Because not only does it have the discovery of Sally and our, of course, important work in that regard. Thank you, Brandon, for acknowledging it. It has the Ben Cook interview that started like a true Canadian rock and roll beef that like actually unfolded like partially behind the scenes between like movers and shakers in our country's dismal rock community. So that's a highlight. I'm so glad that it lives on in this like incredibly narratively complex fashion that involves snake purgatory.
If you are a new Poser fan and you've somehow made it an hour and 10 minutes into the most up our own ass episode yet, definitely make sure you listen not only to the My Pet Sally episode, but please, for the love of God, watch the snake funeral video.
We got to get it to 5,000 views.
I've actually seen Jake the Snakester has responded and said thank you to people who've been commenting.
Really? Oh, that's so good.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to try to get him on the pod, but I feel like I feel like I would need parental permission, and I also feel like I don't know how to broach the subject with someone's parents. We featured your boy on our podcast.
We featured your boy's meta snake funeral video.
And now Mitty Rindle's doing a high concept art project about it. Okay, so in Wodonga.
Yeah, so you're like, in Wodonga there's a Twitter account. No, sorry, in America there's a Twitter account, but it's like sort of gate kept by someone in Wodonga about getting a video of your son's snake funeral to 5,000 views because it was featured on a Blink-182 podcast hosted by two Canadians.
Who are in their 30s.
Yeah, like if you're a
parent. Your son is like probably 5 years old.
Yeah, this is like one of those things where like this is how we get his internet taken away from him. Like it's not.
Or from us, perhaps.
Yeah, exactly. Let's not get the RCMP involved.
It's such a far-fetched premise that it really does scream like entrapment or something.
Yeah, totally. So I think we got to leave Jake the Snakester alone, but keep watching that video. It's a classic, and we got to get we got to get the snake out of purgatory, whatever.
All right, I forwarded you one to read.
Okay, so this is from Josh O'Kane. I will forever cherish the beef I mistakenly ignited with Indy 88 and Bill Billingsley's total disregard for road safety. Also, the wasting time intro should be enshrined in pod history, and he has spelled wasting time about in the way that you sort of joked about it, Josiah.
Right.
Lastly, I would like to apologize again to Ashley for that time I was listening to the pod when I saw her on the street and turned away because I was laughing. Postscript, drive safe, Bill.
Is Ashley there right now? You can pass on the apology.
Josh O'Kane is apologizing for you guys bumped into each other on like Dundas or something, or Bloor Street probably.
That sounds right.
And he was listening to the pod, but he felt weird about it, so he looked away from you, and you were like, "I think I just passed Josh O'Kane," but he looked away from me.
I thought I was just really intimidating.
Yeah, no, you're intimidating, but also the pod is too dumb. Okay.
Sorry.
Do you accept his apology?
Let's see how he does next time.
Oh, okay. So, Josh O'Kane, your apology is, I think,
pending,
conditionally accepted, depending on how your next interaction with my wife goes.
The Indy 88 thing was really good.
The Indy 88 thing was fucking awesome. Because, like, for me personally, like, we've talked about this, like, Canadian media is so small. And really the entire industry, like from artists to journalists to labels, like there's two people in this tiny, stupid country. And everyone is so unfailingly polite. And like stereotypes aside, like no one can ever say what they think. And it's how we end up with like every mainstream Canadian band that isn't big in America is fucking trash. Like, we have a star system here that makes no sense and is completely based on people, like, never wanting to say an ill word about anyone else. And we suffer for it because there is good Canadian music and there is good Canadian writing and there's all this good stuff, but we just like, we suck. And so this Indie 88 thing was like, Indie 88 broadcasts from like a block away from me and employs friends of mine. And just like feeling freed to just like talk endless shit about them was like, I feel like actually had a positive impact on like me personally, where I'd like, I have become like a little bit less afraid of just like actually being myself in a public forum. Whereas I used to just hedge constantly. And it was also so fucking funny. Like, it was so funny.
So funny. It's one of those things. It's kind of like the pop screen, actually, where it's like, it's really not that big of a deal, but the fact that it is, that someone's making it a big deal. Like, that dude from Indie 88 got so defensive about not giving us credit for the...
Oh, yeah.
And the fact that he was, like, doing these threads... defending his decision to not credit the source of the interview, which is weird. Insane.
It was nuts.
Just like, how can we let this go? It's so good. It's so funny.
It was like he made it funnier. Like he kept making it funnier. But it also like obviously made me fucking furious. And it like unfolded across multiple mediums. So it happened on radio, and then it happened on like Facebook. Like he was commenting on, and we talked about this in the episode, he was literally like talking shit on us on like the Facebook pages of mutual friends. Like it got fucking weird.
That was also when I first realized, like, oh, I think we might have accidentally started a gang.
Yeah. And then that's right. We've literally had to be like, everyone stop harassing this parodist on Twitter. Like,
yeah, because we're like a fucking... Blink-155 has a posse.
Yeah, totally. But like when you have like people like Marsden like literally tweeting every day at Indie 88 like justice for Blink-155 and Indie 88 plagiarism scandal, like that's great. Like that is truly great.
And the other aspect of it that's funny is like the fact that the Sum 41, like the content of the story, also was its own kind of
total controversy,
ticking time bomb.
Yeah,
and then kind of we had to like Cone had to come on, clarify the situation, and there's even more behind the scenes stuff that happened that I can't really talk about on here.
Literally, like... and that all starts with the My Pet Sally episode, right? So it's like Ben Cook from No Warning comes on and fucked up comes on, talks some shit, and then like Indie 88 happens, and then Cone from Sum 41 literally kind of has to come on the pod to clarify. Like that was like the most hilarious run of like just Canadian bullshit, but like with an international flavor. People know Sum 41. No one gives a fucking shit about Indie 88. I cherish that. Did we ever talk about the like non-apology that we got like from the actual program director that was emailed to me?
I don't know if we talked about it on the air. So like I eventually got the program director literally had to email me because this became a thing at Indie 88. Like I don't fucking give a shit. Like this was like a problem at Indie 88 because their fucking morning zoo crew does this all the time. Like, jokes aside, I mean, it's a fucking morning show. This is literally what morning show people do, but they are emblematic of this scourge, which is just stealing content and never crediting anyone. And so it became like a thing there. And so eventually, like, the program director for the station emailed me to send me the clip where because they like later on in the show, after everyone started tweeting at them, were like, it came from this podcast. And then like had the fucking gall to basically media-splain to me, like, it's typical practice in Canadian media to just grab newswires, and sometimes we don't have an opportunity to credit. I was like, my dude, like, between Josiah and I, we have, like, 2 decades, like, we fuck around and we, like, joke about just, like... Well, I don't. I joke about being a big shot, and you joke about, like, you're constantly sort of self-deprecating and disparaging. But between the two of us, we have, like, 20 years experience in this industry. I've won awards. I've won awards, bitch. Yeah, like, don't come into my inbox and try to tell me how media in this fucking country works after you've stolen my Cone interview. So while we're for those keeping score at home, Indie 88 not forgiven. No, like, not forgiven at all. So you know, keep those tweets coming. Never forgive, never forget. Oh God. So thank you, Josh, though. That was literally Josh heard that, like, his clock radio
is like a old school, like it's set to the fucking radio, and so he wakes up to Indie 88, and so he
know
heard
how
that.
many times I've resisted calling him a pageman in the last 5 minutes, and now you're telling me this shit?
Yeah. So look at Josh O'Kane is the patron of the pod. Like,
he woke up and was like, "Methinks I just heard an uncredited source."
yeah.
Love it. Thank you, Josh.
Thank you, Josh.
We need a pageman in our corner. Okay, let's keep going. We still got more to get through.
Fuck.
Josh Lindley writes, I thought for sure that Sam's explanation of why he loved Pathetic would always be the greatest part of the pod. It was so touching and relatable and perfect. Then I lost my mind when Josiah could not stop laughing at his Airbnb.
Yeah.
I mean, that was like...
The Airbnb was a highlight. That was people were wondering when someone would cry on the pod, and the first tear shed on the pod were you describing your Airbnb when you were in Toronto for the Blink-155 live event.
That was like a very surreal moment.
Yeah.
That was like too intimate, I think.
Yeah, well, we were like sitting across from each other. We had just got tattoos. We had done this live show. We had been through a lot in 24 hours.
We went to a movie together. We shared popcorn.
That's right, yeah. So it made sense that some tears were shed in that moment.
Yeah. So the next one is from Chase W. Chorney. And I got to apologize to Chase / tell him that he's the one cool Chase, because I was just shitting on people named Chase on the news episode, and he pointed it out. I was like, damn, I guess I have a bad name. But you're the one cool Chase, so...
There's always got to be an exception that proves the rule, so thank you to Good Chase.
Good Chase, yeah, exactly. So let me cut to the Chase with his email. He wrote, Hey, Josiah and Sam, I don't know if this would be cool or not, but I'd just like to give a quick shout out to Justin in Edmonton and my loving girlfriend, Paige. Lots of love to everyone in the nation as well.
Not cool, Chase.
Yeah,
not
Chase,
cool.
You're canceled.
Turns out you're not the good Chase.
Shout out to Justin in Edmonton, which is, I would say, probably, I'm going to go ahead and guess 85% of Edmonton is named Justin. And Paige.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do a pageman.
Yeah.
Let's just move along.
Okay.
Bruce Hamilton writes, his email subject line is favorite moments, and he writes in no order, and then he puts them in numerical order. Number 1, Van Toozler episode. Music writers praise pop music because they don't go to the gym and therefore aren't subjected to what the radio actually plays. Damn, that's like a fucking precursor to Dan Reynolds, I feel like.
Yeah, that's true. That's it. We've always been sowing the seeds of our own destruction.
The first date episode, he likes the quote, "You can't sing the intro riff."
That's true. That's a classic quote.
It's so interesting how these things stand out to people, and I don't even remember some of them.
No, I mean, we've talked about this before. I don't remember the podcast. Like, I don't know what we've been talking about for an hour and 20 minutes. Like, I have no idea.
Yeah, ourselves.
Yeah, actually, you're right.
Number 3, sliding the documents across the table, Poo Poo Butt LLC. Thanks for the laughs. So that's another O'Kane credit.
There you go.
The pageman of the pod.
Thanks, O'Kane.
Thanks, O'Kane. And the documents, of course, became a popular thing throughout Blink-182 Italia.
Oh, yeah.
Else.
And everyone didn't believe it. People thought that they were fake and questioned the watermark, which I'm glad was applied.
All right. Zaylud Rose has also sent in audio file. I called it 155 at first, but as I kept doing new recordings, the file name morphed into that somehow. It's called 155 Fuck Britain, Fuck Brexit. Before I play this, Zaylud also adds, also Josiah's shower soap breakdown or whatever the fuck that was about was a religious experience.
Yeah. So that's emerging as a I think a fan favorite.
I will say this. I will truly, this is 100% sincere. In terms of me being self-deprecating and me talking about my shitty experiences or my embarrassing moments, I literally do now think that when bad things happen, it gets me through it to realize that I can make a joke about it for an international audience. Like, I probably would have felt crazy sorry for myself in that horrible Airbnb if I didn't know that it would be pod fodder.
Like someone in Wodonga would be laughing about it?
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I'll just get through these few nights of hell and then I can talk about it. It'll be fine.
That's see, look, the pod's getting you through tough times, man.
It is, yeah. Okay, here's Zaylud Rose.
Easily the 2 parts of the pod that have stood out to me the most out of the probably over 500 easily covers that we've heard. the two that have stood out to me the most over the year and a half, I was about to say year and a half, whatever, is Cambodian Love, that weird Coheed and Cambria ripoff song that was like tagged like Anthem Part 2.
Oh, yeah.
Me and my friends will still just like burst out singing that song if anyone mentions Cambodia. It's just like, oh, did you hear she's from Cambodia? And then we're all just like, Cambodian Love. It's amazing. The second one, very close second, is Swaggin' Sense 03. Getting in that weird fight with his sister.
Yeah.
And barricading the door and just like doing his weird 12-year-old trying to play music thing while she's just absolutely fucking going at that door, almost kind of musically in a weird way.
Yo, it's true. Those were good.
Those are good ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Zaylu Rose. Cambodia. I've like, it's so funny how these things like they kind of happen and we move on, and you when I think of Cambodia, I think of the Limp Bizkit song Cambodia.
Right.
But maybe Cambodian Love is a superior Cambodian tune.
There has been some great things where we're like, oh, let's just play it anyways because it's the same, and then it's like the worst rock song you've ever heard in your life.
Yeah, totally. That's sick. And Swaggin' Since 03 was sick. Like, that's so
Yeah,
good.
I know. I tried to
Tried to get
a
that
little
kid on the
spoiler
pod?
alert in a spoiler that I haven't said yet, but in the live show there is a super cut of covers from the first year. I guess it'll be expanded upon later on, but I was gonna try to edit that in, but it's like too abrasive.
No, you need, and it's a lot of it's visual. Yeah.
But like to put it on a video in a bar through the PA would just be like too torturous, even for me.
That's
and
true.
it's quite a torturous supercut, to be honest.
It's 15 minutes long, and it is easily your greatest work, and we'd love to bring it to your town or festival.
All right, I forwarded you another one. We're getting close to the bottom of the barrel, and then I got to tell you something at the end.
Okay, so this is from Ian Gragnolati. I started listening to the pod around episode 5, and what started out of pure boredom honestly became an important and exciting part of my life every single week. The pod gets me through rough times. It gives me something to look forward to every Friday. Josiah and Sam's chemistry, along with the nation that has been formed, makes the entire Blink-155 experience so friendly and truly gives off a sense of community. Can't wait to stick around for the latter half of the discography. Green Day pod next?
Well, Ian, maybe we already are a Green Day pod.
Yeah, I mean, this might have been sent before Ian realized that we were deep in Green Day season and had basically pivoted at that point. That's very kind. Thank you, Ian.
Thank you, Ian.
Yeah, and I mean, Ian said it, and we've said it before on the pod, and we'll probably say it again, is like, yeah, the nation that's formed is like, that's what makes the experience so great. Like, it's, like you said, you go through hellish Airbnb experience and you're like, this is going to be funny to someone. And then, and then other people, like so many of the people that we've even read stuff from are people that like, there's been a few people I don't know, but mostly it's like names that we now recognize from like, especially you, because you are online 24/7 and always talking about the pod. That, yeah, it is, there is like an actual legitimate sense of community around it, and it's sick.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it too. All right, the next one is from Luke McComb. The subject is Blink-155 favorite bits, and he writes, "Hey, Josiah's Australian accent is criminally underrated. Every time you guys hate on Australia, it makes me love you more." I think I screwed up my Australian accent pretty badly.
Yeah, I was like, I think maybe your accent is fairly rated.
I was thinking about it too much that time.
Okay.
But he wrote love from Real Aussie Jock, so he's the Real Aussie Jock.
Oh, okay, sick.
And I can't remember what we said, but it was probably something that I said that you agreed with. Because also, I can make you believe anything that I say because you still are a hedgeman. You'll agree with it for the most part. So I could like really get you in trouble, and I think you agreed that everyone from Australia is a jock.
Yeah, no, but I do agree with that. That's not me hedging.
Okay, but I still think that I might be able to trick you into joining ISIS or something if I'm careful enough.
I think those are sort of separate thoughts, but I agree with both of them.
See what I mean?
Yeah. I don't think I'm a hedgeman. I think I'm actually just very agreeable.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree.
Oh, I've turned the tables.
We're still trying to like bamboozle each other.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
gonna talk about that in a second. Okay, this is from Drew, who hosts the excellent and truly insane Steven Tyler podcast.
Yeah.
That I guested on, and I still don't really understand what I guested on. But I will say that their podcast is insanely weird and so much more edited and carefully crafted than ours.
Respect.
It's like, yeah. So everyone listen to the Steven Tyler podcast. They go through Steven Tyler's book, which is basically just like a confession of sexual misconduct.
I don't remember that, but I know there was a very early. In fact, it might have been the pre Junior Battles band that I was in with Aaron Zorgel. Like the first tour I ever went on. The book that he brought with him was the Steven Tyler book, and he'd occasionally like read us snippets from it because it's written by an insane person. Obviously, the podcast knows, and that podcast is a great exploration of just how weird that man is.
Yeah. Fucking Daniel's messaging us right now.
Get
away, Daniel.
Daniel from Imagine Dragons? Daniel Reynolds?
No, Daniel from my episode of Classroom Crush.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, you know who I'm talking about.
I know, yeah. You talked about his dick on Classroom Crush.
This is from Drew.
Hey everyone, Drew from the world famous Steven Tyler Book Club here. Just wanting to call and congratulate you on making it halfway through your project. It's an incredible feat, and I'm proud of you. But you also have to remember that it's all about the journey, not the destination. Oh. So while you're working up on as you're going towards this final 155. Completing that second half. I want you to focus and look back on where you've come from and look at the community that you've built. This wonderful cast of characters. A shirtless man. Many different Twitter handles. And I'm not making light of that fact. I think it's a wonderful thing that you've built this community of very strange weirdos. And I don't mean Bill. Bill, I think you've got a great body, and I appreciate you. I'm talking about all the other weirdos. Bill, just continue what you're doing. You're doing a great job. And you've got a very buff bod. You've got a rockin' bod, Bill. Okay? Let's just sit down. Let's just forget about everything else, okay? Let's just sit down, you and me, Bill, right now. I'm talking to you. This is all a big plan for me to get to you. All right? And here's what I want to do. I just want to sit here in silence. All right? Bill, just you and me. Okay? Everybody else, turn the podcast off. Turn it off.
He recorded some silence.
Okay, Bill? Let's do this, okay?
I don't know if he's done yet.
We'll go for about 3 minutes.
Oh my god, thank you, Drew.
That was great. Thank you. Are we talking over Drew's Bill silence right now?
I guess the silence was not recorded. There was just a lot of gaps. Okay. I'm not really sure, but
okay.
Drew is.
Thank you, Drew.
That's a rapping for safety. Everyone, give him a follow. He's
a great follow. Great follow.
He's on a whole other level.
Yeah.
Of existence.
Yeah. That's sick. So what a special message.
Exactly. This is the last one.
Okay.
I feel like just vamp for a second.
Okay.
I gotta read this.
So make sure it's okay. I do feel like the Bill shirtless pics, which are a hot topic of conversation, have made it harder for me to like confidently open Instagram in public sometimes, because they'll just be like, I mostly follow like dogs and tattoo artists, and then they'll just be like a slew of shots of just like Bill's buff bod, which is sick, but just like not fully like in keeping with the general aesthetic of my feed. But I love it, and I gotta say, it is a ripping bod. So
if anyone wants me to stop retweeting his nudes, I just want you to know that I'm not saying this, but I might be insinuating it. But there's a chance that if I don't retweet them, that he sends me a lot of DMs complaining that I don't retweet them. And there's also a chance that if I threaten to screen cap the DMs and post them for humorous purposes, he also gets very angry. So I'm just saying I may or may not be being held hostage right now. So
it's
all right. The last one was sent to us by Rick Devine.
Okay.
But the subject, I believe it's someone else, because the subject line says this is actually a message from Dave, who works at To the Stars.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, let's hear this.
Hello, Blink 155. My name is Dave Matthews. First time, fate fell short this time. I don't want to be confused with the legendary songwriter. His name is David J. Matthews. I'm just a guy, a Dave Matthews guy. Well, I don't even have a band. Well, actually, I'm a guy who's a day manager here over at the To the Stars store in Encinitas, California. So how I found the show is you actually helped me keep my job. I'm a big fan of the radio station Indie 88. I listen online while I'm stalking the latest To the Stars Moon Man merch. Almost as fun as it is to look at as it is to say. And then, because of the great clips they like to steal from other shows, I found the pod. Through your journey of my boss's old band, which we can all talk about, and I don't mean Boxcar Racer, I discovered the identity of the shirtless man that haunts this place, Bill Billingsley. This man has been a frequent annoyance to the store. He openly tells my cashiers that he is stalking Tom, and I put that in air quotes like Sam would like me to. Thanks, Sam. But thanks to you guys, we now know he's just a harmless fan, or at least a shirtless fan. Regardless of Mr. William Billingsley, I have become a huge 155 fan. I, too, like the many, cried at the RuneScape Felon episode. Hee-haw, tears in my eyes. And I even went to the LA meetup, but I never met anyone because I didn't get the location change. Hee-haw, pay attention to Facebook groups. I even made a cover parody to be a friend of the pod. I present Up All Night, and I can't see straight. I tripped over bent over's rear as I struggle through each and every beer. And as I vomit, it keeps me up to gray. I really need to keep this short like fate fell short this time. I have a lot of work to do. Actually, I have exclusive to share with you of my own. We're releasing in Angels and Airwaves, AVA to those in the know, Funko Pop line to compete with the old band. Although, don't tell my boss, but bottom of the ocean fucks. I gotta go. There's a knock at the door. I believe it is Dan Reynolds, the lead singer of Imagine Dragons, and he's gonna help Tom do a Pegasus challenge, and I have to hold the camera, do ranch, ants marching, and play online songs. Yeah, I'm coming. I swear to God, I'm coming. Thanks for everything, guys. Can't wait to hear the other half of the pod. Crash into me. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Wow. Well, so Rick, thank you for sending that message from Dave Matthews from To the Stars.
Not the musician.
Not the musician David J. Matthews. Wow. It's interesting to know that we have listeners on the inside because to me it's like we're in the second half. Like we've been joking about getting Tom, joking about getting Mark. Scott, we've harassed from a lot of different angles. Travis, I'm not sure about. Matt, who fucking knows? But like knowing that we have someone inside the store, that could be a tremendous help in the second half of securing the package, so to speak.
Exactly.
Wow.
All right.
Thanks, Dave.
So that's the mailbag.
Okay.
But I have to show you. I have to end with one more thing, which
Okay.
I think is a bombshell theory about the entire pod.
Okay.
To be honest with you.
Yeah.
So I'm not allowed to name this person, but it's a friend of mine, and as a little precursor, he like casually listens to the pod, but also this girl that he's kind of like, I don't know if they're dating or if he's just sort of like thirsting on or what. She's like big into the pod. And a few weeks ago, I woke up. This is not related, but this is who we're talking about. I woke up to him accidentally sending me a thirsty message intended for her. Did I show you this?
No.
It's so funny. Look, I just sent it to you. It says, I can't stop looking at this photo of you. You are gorgeous. It's like a photo of this girl. I was like, what? I think I just wrote, thanks, man. And then he laughed really hard. He's also currently on a road trip and hopefully going to hang out with Bill, but I don't know if we've discussed it fully yet. But anyways, so the girl in this photo that he sent to me, which is just fucked to begin with. This is wrong screenshot. She has this theory about the whole pod that I think might explain the entire first half of the pod.
Okay.
So I'm sending it to you right now. I've already read it, so I want you to read it out loud.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just loving the idea of like, why did he send you?
I know.
I just would love to know what the confusion was there. Okay, so
it was sent at like 3 a.m. too. I think it was just like very,
right,
very Hornman hours.
So this is a message. This is a screenshot of a message between the horn dog and the object of his affection, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is from the affected one.
You are quite literally objectifying her. Right. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say this is between the. So this is the object speaking right now. Okay. So Josiah has this narrative on the pod now about how befriending Dan Reynolds changed his life. And then your guy responds, ha, ha, ha. And then...
Yeah, his replies don't really matter. He's just clearly trying to,
right.
He's... The all caps is like, we know what you're up to, bud.
Yeah, just know that this is interspersed with some, like, real enthusiastic ha-ha-has and LOLs. So... okay, I'll start at the beginning. So Josiah has this narrative on the pod now about how befriending Dan Reynolds changed his life. Because now...
And so I guess she hasn't really said the name, but obviously she's referring to... Oh, she did say it. But yeah, Imagine Dragons. Like that... I keep talking about how I'm literally friends with Dan Reynolds. He literally invited me to go for dinner with him next time we're in the same city, like a couple of weeks ago. Like we're legit friends now.
Which I love.
And that has been sort of it has flicked a switch in me, so I thought, but sorry. Okay, start it again. I'm ruining it.
Okay, so Josiah has this narrative on the pod now about how befriending Dan Reynolds from Imagine Dragons changed his life. Because now good is bad and up is down, and he doesn't know how to like things anymore, or how to hate things anymore. He thinks Imagine Dragons is good because Dan is his friend. But here is my theory. It wasn't Dan, it was befriending Sam. Started earlier. The thread was already there because when the show started, they weren't friends, and it was very obvious they disagreed about a lot of those things, and that Josiah kind of thought Sam was cringy, but then he slowly chipped away.
Like, this is fucked.
So this is about me, like, ruining your sense of good and bad and up and down.
Exactly, because you're like Mr. Harms,
right?
And you're Mr. Musicals,
yeah.
And
those are all my misters.
I mean, I didn't think I was being that obvious that I thought you were cringy at the start.
It's pretty. But I think that was also the characters that we were sort of digging into, but they weren't characters.
Definitely, yeah. Like the cynical episode, I think, is where that really crystallized, where you sort of put me on blast for being too cynical.
Exactly, yeah.
And it was like we were sort of. But I think it might be right because now I'm like, damn, maybe I do like Fest. Maybe I do like Harms.
Right.
Maybe it's all okay. Maybe everything's fine.
But at the same time, I'm like becoming very cynical and posting lots of clever jokes on Twitter. I haven't done any of that. None of that's happened to me.
No, none of that has happened because it wasn't that we traded places. It's that you have absorbed me into your optimistic, positive outlook.
So in that sense, like, that makes you the protagonist of Blink-155, which sort of makes sense because you're doing the work. I'm like the landscape of Blink-155. And the whole thing is like a Bildungsroman the hero's journey as you.
I think it's a very good theory.
That's a great theory.
I think also it's like it's not just you, and it's not you on purpose, but we have merged these two worlds that don't normally speak to each other.
Yeah.
Like I'm friends with like and I don't know how I'm friends with people like this because I'm a complete sellout and a poser, but I'm more friends with like the people who are like very DIY tape label, like grindcore band, those kind of people.
Yeah.
And then you're friends with people who like go on tour in a Merc.
Right, yeah.
But we've brought those people together, and now they're talking to each other, and now that's part of why I'm losing my sense of identity.
Right. Well, you talked about this a little bit on your episode of Classroom Crush, the Dan's Dick episode, and you basically said like that your Facebook feed is entirely, Christians you grew up with and then cocaine dealers. And
yeah, exactly.
And so in that sense, I think like you already have had this sort of, disparate group of people that sort of you connect with and you bring in, and that I bring all the Merc people into the mix. And although I assume the cocaine dealers might also drive sick Mercs, but.
They probably do, but yeah, I'm just so glad that my friend's thirst trapping has resulted in this massive revelation. About the pod.
That the pod isn't about you and Dan Reynolds; it's actually about you and me.
Yeah, exactly. I've been using my friendship with Dan Reynolds to really avoid talking directly about my friendship with you.
Right.
But I think the canon is when I visited Toronto this year, we had the live show. Tattoos, the crying giggle session, and our intimate dinner. That was and the movie. That was like Friends on.
Yeah,
officially.
we definitely crammed a lot of.
We DTR'd.
Yeah, exactly. It was a special time. I agree with this. I think I'm better than Dan Reynolds from Imagine Dragons, and I've had more of an effect on your life. But I appreciate that you're like, Dan Reynolds is really the one who's affected me.
All right, well, now what?
I don't know. What are your final thoughts on the first half of Blink-155, Josiah?
I hope that it doesn't... I hope that, when, like, they make a sequel to a comedy and then they just do callbacks to all the jokes from the first one.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be like that. I want there to be new adventures. I want us to get into some new fights and to take down some other media entities.
Yeah.
And maybe you could become friends with someone unexpected.
Okay, I'll work on it. Yeah. Do you want to just like break off and try to should we try to reference things that have happened in the past as little as possible moving forward? Should we make this like the navel gazing finale of part one? Is like, this is it. And we'll move forward. And if Dan Reynolds is involved in if you guys have dinner, we'll talk about Dan Reynolds, But I think I'm jealous of Dan Reynolds now is what I'm saying. Stop talking about Dan Reynolds. It's like Dan Reynolds is part of this relationship.
I'm playing off the two people I know who wear shorts on stage against each other.
Are you saying me?
Are
you fucking kidding? I don't wear. Yeah, like when I was like 15, when you wore shorts on stage, probably.
For real? You don't at Fest or anything?
No.
See, we still have so much to learn about each other in this new relationship.
Yeah, don't worry. Anyway, it's fine. I wear pants. I'm Pan
Man. All right. Thank you, everyone, sincerely for listening to the first half.
Yeah. This has been, thank you to everyone who sent in messages and videos, intimate videos for Josiah to look at. We've done a healthy amount of navel gazing and a healthy amount of kind of talking about, the community and the nation. And it's funny to me because like, I feel like I know everyone who like listens to the pod. And then like when we were in London, I met a guy who like isn't in isn't quote unquote deep in the nation. Like he wasn't hanging out with like the other people who were like in the Facebook group and stuff. He was just like, oh yeah, I love the pod and whatever. And he was just there totally separate from kind of everyone else. And I like forget that there are people who like listen to this podcast that don't like tweet at us every day. But there was like a few names that were all new there and just like discovering this sort of foolish thing that has brought so many people together, like literally from around the world, is just the fucking coolest. And let's make sure the sequel is good.
Yeah, but not tons of. Well, who are we kidding? We can't not reference things.
No, I mean it's
there'll be
definitely
new things to reference.
a hollow promise. It's like I'm gonna be better. I'm gonna drink less in the new year. I'm gonna go to the gym. It's like it's all bullshit. But you got to start with those aspirations, or else like what do you have to look forward to?
I mean, I do both of those things. So.
Right? Yeah. I mean, same. It's fine. I'm gonna stop eating a bag of chips every day in 2019.
Oh.
I'm not.
How do we stop this episode? I feel like there's no way to end it.
Look, Josiah, it has been. We started this. Like, this was literally like something I joked with Ashley about. I was like, is this something we should do? You and I joked about it. I was like, is this a funny idea? There was never any doubt in my mind that we were going to kind of see it through once we started it, because you can't like give something a number and then like let it die off.
Yeah, I'm like insanely stubborn.
Yeah.
So,
but I could not have imagined, like in my sort of like I had a New Year's goal New Year's 2018, New Year's resolution, that's what it's called. I had a resolution, like it was just like goals or whatever, that I wanted to get this podcast to like a certain number of downloads. I was like, that'd be fun. And like in February, we hit that number and then we doubled it. And I could not have predicted that, like, Woody's freaking out. Woody wants us to stop.
Yeah, Woody's done.
Okay, I'm sorry, Woody. But, like, I could not have predicted that any of this stuff would have happened. Like, truly in my, like, what's the best case scenario for you and I doing a Blink-182 podcast? Like, this was not my best case scenario. And I'm, it's always earnest season, like, just below the surface for me. But what a fucking time. And I'm stoked, man. That's it. That's how I want to end it.
Hell yeah. Okay. And I want to end it by saying the word come.